I'd like to call to order the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners regular meeting for March 24th, 2021. Roll call, please.
President Zipfel.
Here.
Vice President Rogers.
Here.
Commissioner Andrus.
Here.
Commissioner Lees.
Here.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Here.
Well, I'm going to ask a special guest tonight, who we're going to learn a little bit about in a few minutes, Mr. Lou Farrell, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. Lou, all you have to do is start, and we'll all follow you. Thank you.
Public for which
So in a few minutes, you will learn why he is a Hatfield hero, which is something else that we're going to be discussing in just a few minutes. Before we get started, though, folks, I have a little bit. We need your help, okay? And I'm thrilled that there's a crowd here tonight. We don't normally get a crowd for our meetings, but maybe this is just a little appropriate, and this is not the easiest announcement to make. We need your help because one of our family members from the Hatfield Police Department, Dave McCreesh, Sergeant Dave McCreesh, is in a real tough battle right now with cancer. And so he needs all your thoughts and your prayers. He retired, he was hired in 1990, and he spent 27 years with us. And he served the residents before he retired in 2017 and deserves much more of our, just really to spend more time with his family. We're actually going to send this video to Dave's family so that they can show how much the Hatfield community appreciates him and how much we love him. For those of you who have been to our meetings before, you've heard us say this, and for those of you who haven't, I'll say it again. This is a family here, and what I mean by that is Aaron is, the commissioners are, we're unpaid elected volunteers. The real hard work gets done by our township manager and the entire staff. Our chief of police in particular, Dave worked for Bill, with Bill for many years and worked for Bill for many years. And Bill is a real special guy. And there's a lot of people that are part of our family that are special. And for those of you who have ever seen a police officer's last ride, that's what they call it. Chief, did I get that right?
Yep.
Last ride was in 2017. We held it right out here. Dave was escorted in by his colleagues with the police cars and the sirens and whatnot, and he's surrounded by family and friends back then. And so we're asking you to do the same for him tonight. So if you just take a moment and send some well wishes and good thoughts to him and his family. So thank you. All right. We need to approve tonight's agenda before we move on. Is there approval of tonight's agenda? Is there a motion for that? Motion by Commissioner Andrus.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Zimmerman. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda as you see it on your screen and what's before you, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we can move forward with that agenda. All right, consent items. Can I get a motion to move the consent items that are in your agenda into the record?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Rogers, second by Commissioner Andrus. For those of you who are with us and watching, those consent items include the Board of Commissioners regular meeting minutes for February 24, the Board of Commissioners workshop meeting minutes of March 10, the Treasurer's report for the month of March, bills payable, paid bills in the amount of $6,379.08, and unpaid bills in the amount of $396,401.48. With that, I'll call the question. All in favor of moving those consent items into the record, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Okay, citizens' comments, folks. We have a crowd tonight. I'm not sure what brought everybody in, but behind your masks, I think there's smiles. So hopefully it's something good. So if you have a citizen's comment with regard to an agenda item, something that's on the agenda, now's the time to come up to the podium. And you have a moment. You can pass on any information or ask any questions. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the process, there is citizens' comments at the conclusion of the meeting as well, which so you'll have another chance at that point. So any citizens' comments at this point? No? Okay. All right. So what we are going to do is, on a happier note, this pandemic has caused just such a difficult. It's been very difficult for everyone throughout the entire country and Hatfield as well, obviously. One of the things that we learned is that there is we always knew we had a great community. There's no doubt about it. But we didn't realize until, sometimes until there's a tragedy or a challenge, you don't realize until then what kind of great people that you have. And so tonight we are introducing something that we're going to do over a period of time. It's called Hatfield Heroes. We are going to recognize people who have stood out in our community and done some amazing things. Undoubtedly, we have recognized the people who have done amazing things on a regular basis include our healthcare workers, our grocery store workers, our truckers and retail workers, all the people who are essential workers who have done just an unbelievable job throughout the pandemic. And tonight, we are going to recognize Lou Farrell and some friends of his for starting an organization called Bread Drop. And if any of you saw a piece on Channel 6, I think it was Action News, is that right? They did a piece on him not long ago. And so I watched the piece, and then I thought, okay, how do I appropriately describe this? But I didn't have to come up with it. Thankfully, Lou sent over to me an outline of what the organization does. And so my colleagues are going to probably laugh at this because I normally do things like this off the top of my head. I'm going to share with you from their own outline, their own mission statement, what they do. Bread Drop is a cheap, simple, and easy way to implement food program designed to produce a nutritious meal that can be delivered quickly to hungry people. It was founded in response to the loss of opportunities for people who live on the street to receive meals due to the pandemic. It's a partnership between 3 suburban food pantries, 17 churches, and numerous unaffiliated individuals who make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. In 2020 alone, Lou and the folks that are with him this evening, they distributed in excess of 100,000 sandwiches to people who needed to have a meal. It's peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And so it's, Lou, in the video I saw, I agree with you. Who doesn't like a good peanut butter and jelly sandwich? And it's just such a great way to take care of others, and it's a great thing that you're doing. He calls it franchised, which is a nice way of saying there's 3 other locations that also do it, in Ridley Park, Lansdale, and Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And he is working with 17 Lutheran and United Methodist churches within 10 miles of Hatfield. The benefits, real quick, before I bring him up and publicly recognize him and maybe tease him a little bit because he's an old friend of ours. The benefit, obviously, for those who need a meal. But also, and I thought this was great that he wrote this in the mission statement, the pandemic has isolated us all and forced us to live without human contact. We're all living with a low level of fear and anxiety, and our world has gotten smaller and dangerous. Making sandwiches for hungry people has made each of us part of something bigger. And that really is what a Hatfield hero is. What right there, that epitomizes, that summarizes exactly what a Hatfield hero does. With him tonight are a few other people. It's Barry, hopefully I get your names correctly. Barry Height, Elaine Gross, Mary Catherine Riley, and Dave Mull. And I'm going to ask that all 4 of them come over to the podium with me. We want to congratulate you, and we have some proclamations for you, and then a little special gift for you on top of that.
There are others besides these 4, if anyone else would like to come with us. Yeah, sure.
Hey, you know what, I'm sorry, there's clearly more people than names that I just called out. My apologies for that. Who did I miss? Whose name did I not call out?
Karen Seiler.
Karen Seiler, folks. And Lou, you're standing behind me, and I'm want to get you an eyes view because, if you're okay with it, I'll take this off, but I'll keep my distance. You really do demonstrate what a fantastic community we have. We are just decision makers up here as part of it, help with the governance of the township. The heart of the township is people who do things like this. So we couldn't be any more proud to make you the first recipients of our, forgot my glasses. Are they over there? the first recipients of the Hatfield Heroes. So I'm going to read, each one of you is going to get a proclamation, and I'm going to read Lou's, and then we'll distribute each one. First you get glasses, and then you get forgetful. So here's what our proclamation says. Whereas the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners desires to recognize Hatfield resident Lou Farrell, and whereas Lou Farrell founded Bread Drop in 2020 to address the growing food insecurity in our region due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and whereas Bread Drop is an inexpensive, simple, and easy-to-implement food program designed to produce a nutritious meal that can be delivered quickly to hungry people, and whereas Bread Drop is a partnership between 3 suburban food pantries, 17 churches, and numerous unaffiliated individuals who make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and whereas Bread Drop and its volunteers not only provide a meal to the hungry, they provide human contact and compassion to many people who have become isolated and frayed during this time. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed, in accordance with the foregoing, that the Board of Commissioners of Hatfield Township does hereby endorse this proclamation as recognition to one of Hatfield's heroes, Lou Farrell, for his commitment and dedication to making Hatfield Township and our region a better place, proclaimed and presented this day of March, the 24th of March, 2021. Lou, and to everyone, thank you. We can't thank you enough. Very happy to have you in our community. More sandwiches, and we have a little surprise that we're going to help you do that. So thank you and congratulations.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks to the commissioners. We started out looking to bring a couple hundred sandwiches a week down to Project Home in Fairmount, and real quickly things exploded, and within about a month and a half we were up to 2,000 a week, and then 3,000 a week, and people like peanut butter and jelly, so I don't really see an end to this. I don't see. The other thing is that I thought that we would have a regular churn of people working with us, you know, because when you have volunteers, people drop in and drop out, and that just hasn't happened with Bread Drop. We have people who've been making 20, 30, 100 sandwiches a week since the middle of April last year, and they don't seem to be stopping. Everybody seems to get this thing. They can work safely in their own bubble, and they can make a difference. Thanks to all of you folks. You know, Barry drives every week downtown. You know, Mary Catherine bags up sandwiches, or bags up fruit for us. Elaine's group over at Trinity Fairview Village, you know, I get 800 to 1,000 sandwiches from those folks every week. It's just really astounding, the generosity that people that we've found that are partners. So the newest thing with us is we're partnering with the email program at Emmanuel Lutheran up in Souderton. Those folks have done 90,000 meals since the beginning of the pandemic, plus, you know, a couple thousand a week on USDA boxes in this area where there's, you know, it's a suburbs where there's no poverty and no hunger. That's not the case, and I'm happy to know a lot of people who are directly addressing that problem and making a difference. I have a present for the commissioners. Okay, so hand out fruit bags with, we hand out snack bags. Potato chips and raisins are a coin in the realm in the homeless community. Those things are good. And also everybody gets a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But we're honored to be with you tonight.
Yeah, I just said we should be careful putting him right next to Chief. I don't think he had dinner tonight. So it's funny that you brought that in as a gift. And so do we want to take a photo as well? Yeah, if we can do that, we can spread people out safely, because then I think we'll give them the gifts. Why don't we, if you can, we usually take photos right in there, but if you feel comfortable and you feel space with the, and you're masked up, why don't we go over there, we'll take photographs, and then we'll give you our gift, which we think is going to be very helpful towards your cause. So.
Stand up here, too, right? That way we're not too far apart. Tom.
Our small contribution.
Only thing not in there is a knife. No knife. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great job, man. Great job.
Can you tell us where, for our audience and our audience viewing us, where anybody can make a donation if they would like to?
Sure. Since we're part of the email program over at Emmanuel Lutheran in Souderton, on their website, you can scroll down to, there's a tab for electronic giving. Click on that, and there will be a drop down for the email program. Anything that goes there goes to us. If you want to make sandwiches for us, that's a good thing to do. Let's see, Tuesday at Grace Lutheran over on 40-Foot Road, the entrance across the street from the post office. We have some coolers that are set out between 8 in the morning to 7 at night, and everybody can drop off what they want there. So, any other questions, folks?
Yeah.
No, but for those of you who don't know Lou, he's quite a historian as well. And so we go way back. Actually, he came to one of our meetings. It's got to be 7, 8, maybe 9 years ago or so.
Yeah.
And he's been a real friend to us in a lot of ways, not just here, but sometimes just a phone call or a helpful idea. And I love mentioning too. He is quite a historian, and he's very good at it. So maybe you want to pick his brain as he's walking out the door.
Thank you very much.
Lou, thank you, and congratulations, and very well done for all of you. Thank you very much. All right, not nearly as exciting is the business that we do at our regular meetings. We have some action items. We understand that some of you may say, okay, this is the no fun part that you want to exit. That's fine, we understand. But for those of you who'd like to stick around, we do have some action items we're going to jump into right away. First is Resolution 21-06. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrus.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lees. This is with regard to 3120 Penn Street, the sewer planning module.
I'll
Do
handle
you
this,
have
Mr.
that,
President.
Aaron?
yeah.
Thank you.
Quick fun fact about Lou before he goes, too, by the way. Lou is the owner of Nacho the Moose at the corner of Orvilla.
Oh,
that
that's
everybody's
right.
familiar with. Our most famous resident. Mr. President, action item 1 is just a housekeeping item. We discussed this 2 weeks ago. Mr. Amy's not able to be with us tonight. This is simply saying it's a requirement from DEP for the land development project on what we all know as the old Finn McCool site. This is saying that there's adequate sewer to serve the site as it gets built over the years. So Ken gave a more elaborate description 2 weeks ago, and tonight is simply passing the resolution so it can be submitted to DEP along with the other required items.
Okay. Any questions or comments with regard to that? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of Resolution 21-06, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Action item number 2, ordinance number 696. Is there a motion for approval with regard to the private lateral sewer inspection requirements?
Moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrews.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lees. Aaron, I'm pretty sure you have this one as
We're going to
well.
make Kristen work tonight, Mr.
Yeah,
Ah, there
I'll
we go.
take this one.
She's
There we
eager
go.
to work.
So this is the ordinance that we've been talking about for months about inspecting sewer laterals upon transfer of property. As requested by the commissioners last month, we added a provision about PVC pipe in any circumstance that it is inspected upon the first transfer and then can go 5 years without another inspection. So this is in final form, it's been advertised, and it's appropriate for your approval.
So we've talked about this at a number of different meetings. I know we had a fair amount of questions and answers, and comments and whatnot. And Commissioner Lees, my recollection is you made some adjustments to it, which are very good.
Sure.
And so does anyone else have any questions or comments before we take a vote? All right, if not, I'll call the question. All in favor of ordinance number 696, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Action item number 3. Is there a motion for approval with regard to the police collective bargaining agreement amendment?
So moved.
By Commissioner Lees. Second by Vice President Rogers. Aaron, do you have this one, or do I hand it to Chief?
We make Chief work tonight. I think he outworked himself
with,
2 weeks ago.
At the
He
2 weeks
thinks,
ago,
he's a little still
we threw him the
fatigued from
ball.
that
Yeah,
performance.
I'm exhausted.
I'll handle this, Mr. President, if you don't mind. It's just this item is a minor amendment to our collective bargaining agreement we have with our police officers. This went in conjunction with the civil service. We changed some of the requirements for a new recruit in an effort to cast a wider net, to diversify, to give other people more opportunities to become police officers. Civil service removed, and we have a civil service commissioner in the room, which we thank his efforts along this process. Civil service commissioners removed the requirement for a candidate to be a police officer to already have what we call Act 120, which means you went to the police academy. So at this point now, we can recruit people that don't have the Act 120 requirement, that have not been to the police academy, maybe someone that's in their mid-career that's looking for a change, or someone that doesn't have the means to afford the academy. This amendment allows the township to pay these individuals while they're going through the academy, and then they'll become full-time officers once they meet that requirement after roughly 6 months. So this is simply creating a new wage that removes the cost of the academy for this, what we call a recruit, and then they will then go into the normal steps and normal pay grades. This will go into effect immediately. We do have a process going on right now to hire 2 police officers, so this will be open to them. The test, I think, was done just last weekend, Chief, and they'll be doing interviews over the next few weeks. And this is all part of the process to develop our police department.
All right. Questions or comments?
So the interview process and I guess the physical fitness, they remain intact, right?
Yes.
Just that we've cast a wider net.
Part of the test is the same. Yeah.
Sorry?
Every part of the test is the same, yes.
Thank you.
Allows more people to apply. And it did work.
Yeah.
Worked. We had double what we had the last time.
Double the amount of applicants, yes.
Great. All right, seeing no other questions or comments, I'll call the question. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Next, bid results. Is there a motion to award the bid results that are listed on the agenda? Motion by Commissioner Andrews.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lees. These are road paving, Allen A. Meyer, it's Allen A. Myers at $461,900. ADA ramps through Drumheller Construction, $49,190. Parking lot and trails, School Park Road, performed by Bray Brothers, $192,510. Propane through Wilson Oil and Propane, $17,748. Heating oil through Suburban Heating Oil Partners, $6,600. Pool chemicals in the amount of $262,335. Gasoline in the amount of $67,398. And diesel fuel in the amount of $22,575. Any questions or comments? Aaron, I'm not sure if you want to comment before we vote.
The only thing I'd like to say, commissioners and for the residents, a few good things that are coming out, a lot of good things, but a few in particular. All the trails at School Road will be paved. The parking lot at School Road will be paved. Roughly 8 roads will be paved. All came in under budget. The only items that increased from last year were gasoline and diesel. Cost of gasoline doubled actually since last year, unfortunately. But the savings that we will incur from the other bids will wash those expenses out, thankfully. But good news for School Road Park. It looks like some people are in the audience that might enjoy going out to a park. I see some heads we got. So new trails being paved, parking lot paved, and a new digital sign coming to School Road Park all in the next few months. So it will appear like a new park, and we're pretty excited to see those improvements. The rest, commissioners, are just, as you know, annual bids that we do at this time of the year. I think one of them will lead to another conversation here shortly about the aquatic center and the cost to treat that facility, and that's where the chemicals come into play, and those came in a little higher than last year, but roughly about the same.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of that
No. So we had a bid, we awarded it, then we never actually bought any. Yeah. Well, there was no revenue last year, so there was no expenses either.
You're having a conversation off mic, and
Yeah,
that's
so
really not
people that are
appropriate.
watching this right now, yeah, the question is, did we spend that last year? And the answer is no. This is just awarding a bid to establish a price. And we use and consume the product as we go through the season. Last year, we obviously didn't spend anything because there was no season. Sure.
Okay, so there was a motion, we discussed it. I'm going to call the question. All in favor of the motion with regard to the bid results, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Next, the HTMA 2021-22 budget approval with no rate increase. So that's Resolution 2107. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Rogers.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Zimmerman. Not sure if anyone saw, the head of the HTMA came in last meeting, right? Was it last meeting?
Yes.
Pete was
Yep,
here?
Yeah, Pete was here 2 weeks ago.
And walked us through from an annual basis. He always gives us an annual review, and happy to report, just like many years in the past, that there'll be no rate increase for this coming year. And so this process is our approval of that budget. So does anyone have any further questions or comments? No? Hearing none, then I'll call the question. All in favor of Resolution 2107, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. All right, citizens' comments. Folks, anyone have citizens' comments? Non-agenda items? If you would, just go to the podium, give us your name, your address, and then your comment.
Thank you, Hatfield Township and Commissioners, for allowing me to comment tonight. My name is Patty Poach. My address is 120 Stamen Drive, North Wales. You might be wondering why I'm here from Montgomery Township, since this is a Hatfield Township meeting, but my family has been season pass holders of the Hatfield Aquatic Center for many years, and my 2 daughters have participated on the swim team. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Hatfield Sharks swim and dive team, past, present, and hopefully the future. A commissioner invited us to come tonight, and many of my friends are here tonight, to open the dialogue about we've been incredibly grateful for the support from the township towards our operating costs to be able to pay the salaries of our swim team coaches. And I know that Aaron Bibro and I had a conversation several years ago. I had volunteered as the parent board president for 3 years, and we had discussed those finances which help support our team. Our swimmers and divers are all required to be members of the Hatfield Aquatic Center in order to participate on the team. In addition, most of us have parents, maybe grandparents, siblings, so it's much more than the 100 members on the swim team that are members of the Hatfield Aquatic Center. What is really discouraging to us is this very last minute notice of this funding being pulled from us, because we're a small team and to be able to find $10,000 by the start of the season, I'm not really sure how we would be able to do that. So if our team needs to leave the Bucksmont Swim League, which has been in existence for a very long time, I don't have the facts, most of our families will be leaving the Hatfield Aquatic Center, and we will have to find a pool where our kids can swim this summer. All of us have lost a lot this past year, and our children have lost a lot. They are really looking forward to swim team this summer, and I am here to ask all of you to consider please funding the swim team again this year. Let our kids have fun. Let them get back to fitness. Please, can we have a conversation? I don't see how this is a loss for the township. I see it as a gain. You have people, families that really care about the Hatfield Aquatic Center that are going to have to leave. And it's not a loss because you make more than $10,000 on our families. And we also give a gift to the township every year at the end of the season. It's more when we're able to host a championship. It depends on how our season goes, but we always give something back. We give back to the township in lots of ways. We support businesses because the Hatfield Aquatic Center is our summer home. We have done community service every year as a team. I'd love to get us making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches this summer. We are part of the Hatfield family, and many of us will not be able to be if we can't have more of a conversation about this funding. Swim team gives our kids an opportunity to exercise, to make lifelong friends, memories, sportsmanship, teamwork, and we don't want to leave Hatfield. So can we please open the discussion tonight? Thank you so much for letting me talk.
Sure. Thank you for coming and raising it. Does anyone else have anything on? Oh, okay. Another resident.
Hello. I wasn't totally fully expecting to talk tonight, but first of all, I love the Hatfield Heroes initiative.
I'm sorry, can we have your name and address, please?
Yes, Katie Gromeyer, 725 40-foot Road, Hatfield Township.
Thank you.
I do appreciate the Hatfield Heroes initiative. Love that you honored Lou tonight, so I do appreciate that as a resident and all that. So I am here as well in regards to the budget with the Hatfield swim team. I did just register my family for another fun summer at the pool today, and I'm also hoping to register our 6-year-old son for the swim team for his first experience. So a little bit about me. I grew up in Hatfield. I was part of Hatfield swim team from age 7 through my senior year of high school. Also swam for North Penn Aquatic Club, North Penn High School. And actually, after my time as a swimmer, I was fortunate enough to coach with North Penn Aquatic Club, Manufacturers Summer Swim Team, and I also coached North Penn High School girls water polo team and our age group teams. Currently, I am a health and phys ed teacher at the high school, and specifically, I teach aquatics and health. So clearly, Hatfield Swim Team has had a major impact on my life and my career choice. Okay, my concern with cutting the budget from the coaches' salaries is that it is March 24th, and we are in a time crunch to find coaches. But now we're going to be faced with volunteer coaches and to do the job the right way. I know full well the day-to-day actions and logistics of coaching a swim team and the time, energy, stress that's put into it. But to do this on a volunteer basis, I think we are in a predicament. I implore and beg the board to reconsider funding for this summer. And then moving forward, can we sit and talk and figure a new model for funding the swim team coaches? As Patty just spoke, these are lifelong experiences, friendships, and things that hold obviously a lot of value to a lot of people's lives. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Well said. Any other residents? People pointing at each other. As you're making your way up, I have to tell you that last week there was a gentleman with a Villanova mask. He was allowed to speak as long as he wanted. Notre Dame, we might keep you limited to the time frame. I'm teasing. I'm totally teasing. Go Irish.
My name is Jeff Fakish. I actually live at 809 Conway Place in Lansdale. I am coming here also in support of the Hatfield swim team. What my role is tonight is to simply actually piggyback off of what Patty had to say. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for an open dialogue between the commissioners and the New Parents Association. One of the most important facets that these community programs offer is the exercise. You know, we're coming out of a time of COVID. I'm not sure if anybody here is going through the same. I was running up until recently to try and lose the COVID weight. But more importantly is the aspect of community. You know, as they've discussed already, the most important thing that this summer program does is really establish the community sense. It's one of the few things around where kids can be outdoors running around throughout the summer, which is the most important part, being outdoors, and that's what the community program offers. When you take a look at what these programs provide kids in the lifelong, you've got members of your own community that are giving back. That is the most important piece of what summer athletics is, whether it's baseball, football, whatever other community programs are offered here. One of your former Hatfield swim team coaches is running for judge. I mean, nothing more can be said about that than people that grow up in the community and have strong ties want to come back and support the program. The most important thing that we provide as coaches and as community aquatic programs is better citizens for our community. So I would also implore you, and I don't want to belabor anything, to at least open up the dialogue, to find ways to make it work for everyone. Thank you.
All right. All right, thank you. Anybody else? So we're thrilled that you're here tonight and that you raised the issue, and we really appreciate the fact that you're saying let's open a dialogue. We're going to do that for sure. I mean, one of the things that those of you who don't know how we work, we are not, the five of us are not on staff. We're not paid employees. Not here in the day-to-day. So we need to hear the feedback from residents, and then we have further discussion. And so what we'll do is a part of this is opening dialogue about residents' concerns, and we'll do exactly that. So, during this next week, unless Aaron, you had something that you wanted, something I'm missing right now, but during this week, we'll talk to staff and we'll discuss it. And then, of course, we have a meeting second and fourth Wednesday of every month. And we'll reach out. Is there someone in particular who has been maybe the contact person for the group that you'd like to share? So after the meeting, if you could come up and give us your name and contact information, and then we do exactly what you're asking us to do. We have a dialogue and we talk it through and figure out if this is something we can do. We're thrilled you came out, by the way. We don't normally get a crowd, so this is very nice. Any questions or comments from commissioners?
I have a few questions. I was not a swimmer. However, my wife was on the swim team, competitive swimming and diving, since she was 9 until she graduated high school. And she went to Norristown, but we won't talk about that here. But she swam for Whitpain, and she was in the winter leagues with the AAU and everything else. And I asked her about this because her parents were heavily involved, and they were volunteer coaches. And I played Little League ball here in Hatfield from the time I was 6 years old, right? I remember selling a lot of hoagies, a lot of candy bars, a lot of raffle tickets. I asked around, there's no other sports in Hatfield Township that are sponsored or get a donation from the township government, from the taxpayers. So my question is, what have you guys been doing to raise funds to pay for your coaches? What are the parents paying per child? I know for Little League ball, parents are paying $125 a kid. When my son was in Taekwondo, I spent a lot more than that in belts and gis and competitions and driving them all over the place and whatnot. When my daughter played soccer, it cost me a lot more than $100 as well. So, what private capital has the swim team brought? Also, do you guys have any corporate sponsors? Like when we were playing Little League ball, Hatfield Packing, Trolley Stop, Clemens Markets, Alder for Glass. These businesses all contributed and were sponsors for our teams. Do you guys have any sponsors to help you with those?
Have to go to the
I can't hear you
microphone.
through the mask, number one. Could you put it, go ahead.
Excuse me, you have to use the microphone, please.
Sorry.
We videotape the meeting, so no one will hear you.
Hi.
Hear you.
I can hear you now.
I'm Becky McHenry. I've been involved with the swim team for so long. I live in Hatfield Township. To answer your question, many years ago, we tried to get corporate sponsors. And in order to get a corporate sponsor, we would have to hang like a flag, like the baseball team does, on the fence. We were strictly told no, we were not allowed to do that at all. So that cut out getting any type of corporate sponsors. And we tried to do that for many, many years, and we were flat out told no, because the companies wanted us to put the flags out or the signs.
Okay.
So I even asked if we could just do it during a swim meet, you know, on the fence along the pool, and they wouldn't let us either.
Aaron, is that something we can explore?
Hi, Becky.
Hi, Aaron.
Good to see you. One of the hardest things that with the swim team and township interactions over the years, that there's just been so many moving parts and so many, someone says something through somebody to somebody to somebody, and it gets to me. We'll let you put anything on the fence. I don't know how that was communicated over the years. It makes no sense to not have something on the fence. I don't want this to divert into many different ways. I think what would help me, and I'll talk to the board, but what help is, you know, we need to know who's on the swim team board, right? It changes every year. They're volunteer parents. I get it. I do the same thing with my kids and their organizations. Set up a meeting with me and Ashley, our parks director, and we'll work through these issues once I get some feedback from the commissioners regarding the spending. Those things are easy. Putting things on a fence, the answer is going to be yes to almost anything you ask. I think the problem over the years is maybe you're asking the wrong person. Maybe for some reason how it's being communicated back and forth between the organization and the township, something's happening in the middle. It's like the telephone game as kids. I think if we cut out the middle, and you come and you talk to me, you talk to Ashley, the commissioners, sure, and we establish that communication, I think we can work through a lot of these problems, truthfully. And I know Becky serves on our boards and does a lot for the township, and I know there's a lot of great people involved in the swim team.
Absolutely.
It's just the names and faces change every year, and people's interest changes, and your kid might play basketball next year. And you're
Except
not
I'm
swimming.
still here, Aaron.
You're not going away, Becky, I get that. But all those things we can work through, and I don't want to cut off Commissioner Lee's, but a lot of these things aren't hard. I think we're making it harder than it needs to be.
I'm Patty Poach. I spoke before. Aaron, I just wanted to say thank you because I know the 3 years that I was the parent board president, Aaron and I met quite often and had a lot of open communication. And Aaron and Ashley worked with us all the time, you know, back and forth. And that's why I wanted to open up the dialogue tonight, because I know that we can work this out and make it work. I know we can. But to answer some of your questions, we are revisiting sponsorship, and if you go to our website right now, we do have a parent that is leading some and has been going out and asking for sponsorships. That was before we knew we lost this funding, so we actually, I believe, started it last year or this year? Okay, last summer we started it, so that is, but then we didn't have a season, so that kind of halted it. So that is in progress.
Okay. Do you know what the website is so the people at home can go to it if they want to donate? Because I believe it was you I emailed today. I'll be more than happy to personally contribute to the swim team.
Oh,
I'll give you a check. I have no problem.
All right.
Make a donation. I have no problem with that, okay? But,
Hatfield Sharks? All right, I'm going to email you.
okay.
Help me out with the website. And so a lot of the revenue is generated, like I mentioned before, we pay membership fees and then the township helps us. So that's a big part of our operating. We also charge a fee for every swimmer, and I haven't been on the board for 2 years now, so I want to say $80-ish, but I can get you the exact numbers. So
Okay.
that goes towards our operating expenses, and that's per child. We also do fundraisers at like local restaurants, like different restaurants will give us a percentage back if we all support them that day, so that brings in some money. Snack bar, that's one of our biggest. Annie is our snack bar person, and all of our families contribute. Annie makes an awesome smoothie, and people make like homemade cupcakes and cookies, and I tell you, sorry, Jeff, but we have the best snack bar in the whole
Okay.
league, the whole league. So we do the best we can, you know, raising as many funds, and that's the thing, like, if you have ideas where we can bring in more funds, like, we're open to it. Our kids are great. They'll do what they can. And I know we change our board every 3 years, but let's keep the communications open. And even though I'm not on the board anymore, I'm happy to do anything.
Thank you, Patty.
Any other questions?
Yeah, could you tell me how many members you have, swimmers?
Approximately 100. We used to have a much bigger team, and we're trying to rebuild. So that's another reason why we really want the funds. A few years back, we had some safety issues at the pool, which drove away a lot of our team members. So we're in the process of rebuilding.
And I thought you said you were from North Wales, correct?
That is right.
So your swim team's open for anybody?
You have to be a season pass holder. So the Hatfield Aquatic Center, you can be a resident or a non-resident. I happen to be a non-resident because Montgomery Township doesn't have a pool. So we could have joined Lansdale, Norgwin, but we chose the Hatfield Aquatic Center. So our team at one point was comprised of more non-residents than residents, I believe.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. You know what the mix is?
I can absolutely look at the list and give you the percentage, but I know that at one point it was definitely more non-residents.
Great. I'm going to echo what Aaron said, which is let's get a meeting and sit down, because I've been doing this enough with different organizations that that is the key to figuring things out. I know when I first started, there were the fire companies didn't speak to the township. They didn't speak to each other. And then literally just by setting up a few meetings, it was amazing how things changed dramatically. So, and to echo what Aaron said, a lot of these are things that we can help out with for sure. And so whoever, I didn't get your name, but please, like I said.
Her name is Missy Walsh, president of the board. Thank you, Missy.
Thank you, Missy. Missy, definitely step right up and share your information, and we'll get a meeting put together.
Communication is key, and we're happy to have this communication tonight and ongoing. Thank you so much.
Great. Now, thanks for coming out. We appreciate it. Anything else? Any other citizens' comments? No? All right. Commissioners, any other items, anything for the good of the order? If not, then,
Different subject?
oh, yeah.
I have one, Commissioner. If we're going to allow them to have sponsorships and flags, I want my flag up there on the fence, Mr. Bureau.
Depends how much you're willing to pay.
I think you got to set up a meeting with Missy.
And we, and we get to vote on that.
Bob, you have something?
Yeah, actually, over the last couple of weeks, I've had some conversations with a couple in Hatfield Township, Jeff and Kim Wirt. I think they've come up with a very good idea that I think we should try to support the best we can. They talked about starting a ADA advisory committee to review and make recommendations to help improve the accessibility of our parks, playgrounds, and other areas. So I guess I'm asking for everybody's support. I would like to bring them in and let them present what their thoughts are and the scope of what they would like to do with the committee. And any recommendations or any monies that would need to be to support any of these types of activities certainly would come through the board to be voted on. And we might be able to get them a little bit of help, maybe getting some grants to upgrade some of our playgrounds and stuff like that.
Yeah, very much so. I'm looking for a consensus. Is that right? So
Thank you.
if you want to coordinate with Aaron, we can get the words to a meeting maybe if they have some public comments and a plan, and then we can discuss it. Great idea.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments? And I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
By Commissioner Zimmerman, second by Commissioner Andrus. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we're adjourned. Thanks for coming out, folks.